Turn the page. This one here, it talks about that you report all of your income from the following, and it lists everything here practically. So make sure you ask your client, or if you're being audited, to respond to all of these here, just to be ready for it. Turn the page again. Look at the bottom here. It says, do you have a cash hoard? Now, what is a cash hoard? Somebody might take cash from the business and they put it in coffee cans at the house, or they put it underneath their mattress and so forth. So, I don't know, use your judgment here. Do you have a safety deposit box, and where? What are the contents? Again, here, if your client owes a lot of money to the IRS and they have a safety deposit box, the IRS wants to know about it. Is there cash in there? Do they have jewelry? You know, most safety deposit boxes people have, they keep their passports, important documents, etc. So again, use your judgment. Turn the page. How did you determine your gross receipts? This one here is to figure out, well, did you report all of your revenue from your own business that you received? So again, make sure you address this issue. How did you start it? How did you start your business, etc.? You know, just follow through with it here. Under the automobile, they want to know how many vehicles they have and how do they determine the expense usage of the auto for the business. Down the last subject here is entertainment. Meals and entertainment. I mean, you know, and I'm not picking on a specific target here, but you know, I get hairstylists that will say, oh yeah, we have $2,000 in meals and entertainment, and I'm 51 years old and I've never had my hairdresser take me out to lunch or dinner to discuss my hair. So I'm sorry. Be careful who, you know, if it's a bona fide business expense, yes, but you know, most people take it and they want to declare it on the tax return, and that's one of the biggest areas that the IRS audits actually. So I always tell my clients when I'm preparing their taxes, you know, let's really be real here. If it doesn't apply, let's not do it, because this will subject you to an audit in the future if you declare it. Turn the page. Here we have inventories, and just the third one down, any personal usage. You know, be careful here. If you have a client, or you yourself, if you own a restaurant and you're taking food to the house and cooking and so forth, use your judgment. Make sure how to address these issues beforehand. The entire initial interview is for you to really analyze before you go through the audit for you or your client. Turn the page. Accounts receivables, any bad debts, the third one down. You gotta be careful here, because some individuals would write off a bad debt even though they never declared it as revenue, because they are a cash basis taxpayer. Now, if they're an accrual basis taxpayer, of course they can write off bad debts, but cash basis, you know, it's impossible. So make sure you address this issue here, whether you operate or your client operates on a cash basis versus the accrual basis. What interest is charged? If there's no interest charged on the accounts receivable, sometimes they will impute the interest to say, okay, from the $1,000 you received under IRC, Internal Revenue Code Section 7872, we need to impute interest on the monies because it was late. So also make sure of that. Books and records. Who prepares the returns? From what records? Many small businesses, they usually wait till year end, they add up all their deposits, or they determine what their gross receipts are. They might add up their checks in categories and say, okay, this is advertisement, this is for utilities, blah, blah, blah. And that's how they prepare the return. But if you feel it necessary and to prepare for the audit by journalizing, creating your general ledgers, journalizing, coming up with your financial statements, then please do that, and do charge your client for it. Sometimes it's much easier if you have a medium to a large business that you're representing, is to actually do the financial statements. And again, if you are going to do this for your client for the entire year, you charge money for it. You know, just use your judgment here. Turn the page. Sales is cash kept out of deposits. And I love this one. I've prepared taxes in the past for individuals. Let's say they're a contractor. And they say, oh yeah, here is all my bank deposits. And I say, this is everything you received. They say, well, no, only the checks. I say, well, how about when you get paid by cash? They say, well, I thought cash doesn't have to be reported. That's what everybody tells me. So here we go again. Well, when we get into the bank deposit analysis, I will discuss economic reality with you a little bit. But just in a nutshell, economic reality means, have you seen a 1040 where the AGI, the adjusted gross income, is $20,000? Schedule A has a home interest expense deduction of $30,000. Well, then you have groceries and car payments. How did you live? That is economic reality. Make sure you address that issue. Expenses, are all expenses paid by checks? Well, yes, they should, and those individuals who operate a business that don't, they are wrong. The best thing to do is to pay by checks or credit cards. That way everything is right there and accounted for. And the last page, assets, how did you expense them? Whether or not you are depreciating them, because sometimes on a return people take an asset they've purchased, they went to a tax preparer, and the tax preparer just expensed out the entire asset where it should have been depreciated under Section 179, for example, or on a 5-year straight line, double declining methods, etc. So make sure you address all these. This pretty much concludes our initial interview. Take your time, review the entire package that I have available, made available for you, and that way you're ready for any thing that happened beforehand. Let me look at my computer screen. The next one we should talk about now is the bank deposit analysis. I do suggest you review this 3 times at least, and then get into the bank deposit analysis for the IRS audit. I thank you for watching.